managing the balance for 4 laps. How about this guy, Diff?
This guy has won 7 NASCAR Cup Series championships. It is Jimmie Johnson in the Carvana Honda, but he has never experienced anything like this. How did he decide to come to Indy?
In the Indy500. There's a lot of unknowns, so I think there's plenty of nerves right now, but I'm certainly excited to have a shot. I mean, it's something that I've dreamt of since I was a kid. Was able to sit on the pit box last year with Steve Letarte, and before the first group of cars went by, he said, I'll tell you right now, you're gonna watch those cars go by, and you're either gonna be in or out. There's no middle ground. And the first group went by at speed, and he looked at me and he goes, now what? I said, I'm in. I've got to do this. Like, this looks too cool. And my FOMO was raging so bad at the time. I know I'm going to have a wonderful experience, and it's something, you know, I've wanted to do forever.
Well, there's no more fear of missing out for Jimmie Johnson in the Carvana Honda. He's in, and he's not only in this field, he is in the Fast 12 and has a legitimate shot at making it into the Firestone Fast 6. Dave Burns.
And Lee, since this qualifying started, he's been constantly on the radio with his team. He said, I want you to tell me about the speed in the track. How has it changed? And they changed his car quite a bit from when it rolled onto the grid.
Well, speaking of the track, luckily, track temperature starting to drop. It peaked at about 110, 111 during Scott Dixon's run. It's now dropping, and at 108 right now. It's a little bit of help, but every little bit adds up.
This is it. Jimmie Johnson has already gone through one phase of qualifying to get to this point. Oh, look out, he almost lost it.
Huge understeer off of one, that tailwind catching him out, snaps to a quick oversteer. Great job to catch the car and keep his foot in it.
What a save.
Sorry, brother, gather it up, refocus.
What a save.
And now Townsend, I mean, his heart rate is absolutely pounding. He's making adjustments to the car. He's coming through 4, and he's going to be staring down at turn 1 thinking, what do I have to do different to come out the other side?
And he has to do this 3 more times. Let's see what this looks like on board. That was crazy last lap.
Understandably, the speed is lower than his competitors because of that massive moment. 229.9.
But that looked really good, Diff. He might be able to respond. He might be able to recover and get himself into the top 6.
His run in practice, it was so smooth, it was so stable, it was so consistent. I thought this was definitely a car that could threaten for the Firestone Fast 6. Maybe it still can, but man, to have a moment on the first corner of the first lap is never an ideal situation when you're qualifying in Indianapolis.
When you look at the top 3 speeds, Dixon, Ericsson, Carpenter, they're in the 233 range. Jimmie was there earlier today in practice. Lap 2 says 232.9.
Oh,
but Johnson, he's on the comeback.
Way to go, Cowboy, hanging on.
And I think that was even with a small lift in turn 1, but now he was flat on that lap, so I think he could still find some pace in this thing.
There are only 2 drivers on the planet who have ever won the Daytona 500 and Indy 500, and they are here right now. AJ Foyt and Mario Andretti. This guy, next Sunday, is trying to join them.
Nobody should question Jimmie Johnson's commitment to making this happen and making it happen successfully after what he held on to in turn 1 of the first lap. This is an incredible recovery.
A loss of about a mile an hour on that third lap, but another wiggle, my goodness. You can hear him pedaling the throttle, Townsend. He is not as comfortable now. He is really battling this race car, but he is hanging on to it.
He really is. He passed the hardest test there, lap 4, turns 1 and 2. This should be a little more straightforward based on the wind direction in 3 and 4. 3 looks good. One more corner.
No matter how this ends up, he's starting within the first 4 rows of his first Indianapolis 500, and that's something to be proud of, for sure.
For sure. The run to the yard of bricks for Jimmie Johnson, it won't be the numbers that he wanted to see. With a 4-lap average of a 231.264, but most importantly, he brought the car home and he says that was interesting.
Watch
Jimmie,
this.
it sure was.
Huge understeer, gets right up to the wall. That's the biggest moment I think we've seen all month.
You see the black streak that the right rear laid down?
But
look at this.
His reaction, look at that laying rubber.
Oh, yeah, that got Romain Grosjean's attention. Romain, he was closer than you, and he was closer than Will Power. That was a crash that didn't happen at over 230 miles an hour.
Oh, and Marty, that would have been a crash a spectacular crash. It's so good that he hung on to that thing. The speeds are insane down there.
That was just jaw-dropping. And Steve Lazard, he was your teammate for 20 years at Hendrick Motorsports. Are you surprised at his tenacity to stay with it?
No, not at all. I mean, that's the story of his career. Tons of talent, tons of hard work, combine the two and show up with the results. It's hats off.